Good morning. I just learned a lesson and I thought maybe we'd have a little coffee time pep talk. I like to pop over on live and say hello when I've learned a lesson that is pertinent to my life that maybe I think would be helpful for your life too. So, kind of a little bit of a story, some background to this. I am working on a sweater. So, this is the back panel of a sweater that I'm working on. And this is a challenging sweater for a couple of reasons. So, I bought the yarn and the pattern for this sweater back in 2017 when I was in July when I was at the World Domination Summit, and it was a pattern that I knew was going to be a little bit challenging, a little bit outside of my skill level as far as some of the technical things, but I really want to do it because it's like super cute. I'll show you what it should look like when it's done. So that's what it should look like when it's done. I have enough yarn to make two, one in red and one in green. And so the red one is kind of my like practice color. And then the green, once I learn how to do the pattern, will be hopefully the less mistaked sweater vest. So why am I telling you this? So I started this in July of 2017. That's a long time ago, right? So what happened was I got about 8 inches in. I got up to where I start the shaping for the shoulders. And I took the knitting with me to India. And the thing is, in the United States, you can take your knitting needles on a plane. No big deal. I guess they don't really think of them as a weapon. I don't think they think that folks who are knitting sweaters and socks and whatnot are really going to like hijack a plane, but whatever. So I assumed that having that on a really long flight over to India would be a fantastic way to pass time, and it is, but I really actually don't think that I pulled out the knitting needles at all. So it was kind of a bust, and I'd gotten a lot onto that. On the way home, I thought, oh, yep, I'm definitely going to knit on the plane on the way home. So again, back in 2017. So the TSA in Mumbai does not have the same rules as the TSA in the United States. So what happens is they actually took the knitting off the needles. So they threw out the needles that were on that. They were really expensive needles. Expensive is a relative term, but expensive needles, and I really liked them. They threw them away. They gave me the yarn and the knitting piece back that is now off the needle. So all of those stitches dropped. Done. I did not pick up that knitting again for a really long time. In fact, I did not pick it up until last week when I went over to my friend Pam's house, and she helped me pull it off, and I started the pattern all over again. And then last week I got about to the point where I had been when I was in India, and I realized I'd made a really big mistake and it all needed to come off the needle again. Okay, but I'm determined. I don't like to let small things stop me. So I took it all off the needle and I started again, and we've had a lot of snow time, and I'm determined to do this sweater. So I get all the way up. I did the beginning shaping for you can see I'm pretty close to done with the back panel of this. And I got up to a part where I was supposed to do what's called a wrap and turn. And it's something that I could not wrap my head around. What is it going to look like when it's done? How do you do this? So this is the lesson. Sorry, it took me like 4 minutes to get to the point where the lesson was. But the point is that I got to this place and I had to do this thing that I'd never done before. This is a theme that keeps coming up for me. Just like when I had to dig to the footer tile on my house and fill in the hole in my head. I just could not see how it was all going to work out. I had to have faith that I could try it, and if it didn't work, try it again, and that it's going to work out, and that I don't have to know what it looks like to be able to take the step to move forward. So I watched some videos on YouTube. Again, my friend Pam came to the rescue and suggested that I do that. She explained how to do the wrap and turn with me, but in knitting, it's helpful to see how somebody else does it. Thank God for YouTube. So I watched the wrap and turn, and I've tried it. I've gotten a few rows. I've got about 16 rows into this wrap and turn thing, and it seems like maybe I've made a couple mistakes, but I've kept going and I've worked it out. So just another reminder, this is the lesson that I keep getting. This is my pep talk to myself this morning. Maybe it'll be useful to you. You don't have to be able to see everything through to be able to do it. If I would have waited on this sweater to be able to see how all of those stitches were going to turn out, instead of just having faith that I could do it and maybe rip it out and go back, then I wouldn't be where I am on the sweater. And so if there is something in your life and you can't see what the next step is, it doesn't mean that you don't take the step forward. You can always go back. You can always rip out that stitch and start over. There are very few things that you can't rip the stitches out and go back on. So, and even if you do, you can still start over from scratch. And this is just a lesson that keeps coming up over and over in my life. And maybe it's coming up over and over in your life. So that's my coffee talk, pep talk for you this morning. I hope that you are drinking your coffee. I'm going to jump in the shower and I'm going to walk to work because my street is still a mess. But I hope that you all have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.